Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and today we're starting out in the greenhouse. Now it's very early morning here, and we're out here this early because this is when it's best for me to water all the various vegetables, and as you can see, they've really taken off. In fact, I've had to harvest twice already, my green beans and my lettuces, and I just wanted to show you that real quick, as well as take a peek in the bins to show you how those are coming along as well. Then we'll move out into the yard, over to the budget bins, and take a look at those goldfish and see how they're doing. So let's get started. So the lettuce in the greenhouse is doing amazing. In fact, I harvested it about a week and a half ago, and it's almost ready again. And all I do to harvest this is cut it right above the crown, and that way it continues to regrow. You can see that on this romaine here. If you cut above the crown, the plant will just keep producing new leaves, and then you don't have to re-sow. My onions are nearing maturity actually. They're a 100-day variety, and when the tops fall over is when you need to pull them, so we'll probably utilize this space for something else soon. My mesclun mix is going gangbusters. I actually need to get out here today and harvest more because some of it's getting quite thick. My peppers are all growing really well. I have baby tomatoes on all the plants, which is exciting. I am harvesting green beans like crazy, which is awesome. You can see some of the younger ones in here. These guys grow amazingly fast, and it's been super fun. I'm still waiting to harvest peas. I have more pepper varieties, but you can see how big the plants have gotten. This is another green bean. See baby green beans all over it, and then more tomatoes, basil, peppers, and then the plumeria I started. I'm super excited because it has a lot of leaves starting, which is really awesome because I had no idea what I was doing. So to see it growing actual leaves is awesome. Once it gets a few more on both of these plants, then I'll repot them into a bigger and sturdier pot, but I really want to allow for that root development before I disrupt them. You can see the sweet potato plants are getting massive, which means I need to get my button gear and get my soil mix made for where I'm going to be growing them outside. I have some interesting ideas for that, so if you're interested in seeing how I grow sweet potatoes, make sure you're subscribed with that notification bell on. Now, as far as the aquatic tubs, they are also going really well. You can see that this water zinnia, which is this one, is growing from tub to tub, sort of like my sensitive plant did last year. It's just growing in leaps and bounds and then rooting into pots in other bins, which is awesome because you can see it has a really strong root system, which is perfect for raising all my critters. Now, I'm still waiting for floaters to establish in some of these tubs. You can see the azolla, I put a handful in here, has gone gangbusters. And again, that's awesome because it provides shade and it also helps with the algae. Out here in the greenhouse, a lot of these tubs get a really nasty, snotty algae that I manually remove about twice a week. You can see it in this tub here. This one needs more surface plants, I think. I moved in this water hyacinth today, and I'm hoping that will help as that one grows super fast. You can see the variegated water celery is also absolutely gorgeous and doing well in here, as well as the pickerel rush. Now, as far as the fish, I don't see a whole lot of them. I see movements here and there. I would expect, if they're going to breed, to start seeing fry in the next 2 to 3 weeks. The lid has worked well for the brachydaniochaethet, no more crispy critters. I know that I see a ton of least killies in this tub, so I know they're breeding well, but I try not to disrupt everyone too much. I also see quite a lot of the emperor tetras in this tub, and I would, actually there they go now. I would expect to start seeing fry really quickly in here. Let's go take a quick look at my bog and succulent garden, and then we'll move over to the big bins. Now I have to tell you guys, I am absolutely geeked with how this garden looks. From my more traditional, just flower planters to the succulent planter I did from the rescue plants. You can see all the plants have new growth starting. And it's doing really well. I wasn't quite sure how well this would do because I set it out a little bit early. But I'm very relieved to see that everybody has like tons and tons and tons of new growth and baby plantlets forming. So I'm hoping this is going to be a success. You can hear the frog in the background. My semi-bog, this it's a hot water heater tray that I keep some of my extra or individual bog plants in. You can see how much this guy's grown. And then, of course, the bog garden. You know, every day it just looks better and better and better. There is insane pitcher growth everywhere. I mean, some of these are over 3 feet tall, like this guy. My Venus flytraps are starting to flower, as you can see. All around, there's just flowers and healthy plants. Really, really cool. And then the succulent garden is really starting to come into its own as well. It's still pretty early in the day. Like these ice plants, these ice flowers don't really open up until they're in full sun, and it's only in partial sun right now. But you can see some of these other sedums and stuff are just killing it. This garden, again, is going to be one of those ones that gets really awesome over many years. I don't expect a whole lot out of it the first few years. But one of the things that I've been really, my favorite plant is probably this guy. It just is amazing. I also particularly like the pinks. And look at this giant hen and chick and all its babies. So again, this is one that over the next few years we'll keep an eye on it, and at some point it should just be mounds and mounds and mounds of succulents, and I'm pretty excited about that. Let's go look at the tubs. So over here at my outdoor big tubs, I'm super geeked. You can see the Louisiana iris is blooming like mad. Now we've had nothing but horrendous thunderstorms the past week, including tornado watches. So some of the taller plants, like that canna lily, have sort of taken a beating, but all this hardier stuff has done just fine, and I'm really stoked at how everything's growing in. I haven't found any fish bodies. I'm assuming everyone's doing really well. Again, I don't disturb things too much. You can see the great variety of lily pad shape, color, and size. And I'm super excited that we're going to start getting flowers soon. I did fertilize these again last week, and I noticed over here, see if we can get it in focus for you, there is a flower bud poking up right here, which means probably in a week or so we're going to have a flower. But everything's growing super well. The floating bogs are doing amazing. They look very happy. The only thing that doesn't look super awesome is this poor little plant here. And I'm thinking this is like a mimosa type. This is that red something or another. I'm thinking I might just be keeping it too wet for it to like. And I may end up moving that into a different sort of setup if it doesn't start taking off. But you can see the water mint here is enormous. The variegated celery, and again, all those irises blooming are just insanely good. And the loose strife. This has easily become my favorite marginal. Look how beautiful all these little yellow flowers are. I mean, and it's blooming in the water, under the water, on top of the water, like just going gangbusters. I couldn't be happier with that. Now this 40-gallon tub is still probably my favorite. This giant taro is throwing out leaves like crazy, and it's interesting because as you can see, they start out super green with a purple heart, and as they mature, they get dark purple. Really cool. You can see the irises, even in the shade over here, are blooming like mad. The loose strife has colonized the front of that basket beautifully, making it a lot less visible. The creeping Jenny has grown across the water and down into the water. And I just love this tub. I went out yard sailing with my daughter, and if you follow me on Instagram, you saw this magnificent piece of driftwood I got for 20 bucks. And it's all colonized with native mosses. So I dug up a fern from my yard and dropped it in this big hole in the wood, and I'm hoping that this is going to colonize this wood because I think it looks really cool right there, and as the fern grows it would hide the side of this tub, and I just think it looks really awesome. But let me know what you guys think down below. This little low light planter and the rehab salvinia is doing amazing. This tub still doesn't have fish in it. I'm waiting for something special. I may break down and just move maybe my wild guppies out here, I'm not sure yet. But you can see that the creeping Jenny and I think it was some hydrocodal species that I moved in here are doing quite well. Now over here is the Goldfish Tub. Again, you can see this is doing super, super well. And I'm going to go grab a net and a container and we're going to see how big these guys have gotten. It's absolutely amazing to me how big these guys are already. They're easily at least 3 times as big as they were, despite it only being about, I don't know, maybe a month since I found them, if that. And they are very obviously goldfish at this point. They have that gold, brown, green type body, and I think it's clear to say that they love being in that tub. They're really filling out nicely, and I'm excited to see what they become. Let me know down in the comments if you guys can tell what variety they are from this footage now that they look more like fish. I mean, they were quite literally maybe between 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch when I put them into this tub. So we'll grow them out for this season, see what they become, and come up with a plan. As always, thanks for your continued support, and I hope you've enjoyed this update on all the tubs and the greenhouse. Stay tuned because later in the week, we will be doing a tank makeover on the retirement community, as well as probably looking around the fish room at a lot of the spawns I have there.